For our last hands-on, you are going to copy from Chapter 6 glossary.py into your Chapter 10 folder. Then you're going to create a function to write the glossary to a JSON file. You're going to create another function to read from the glossary JSON file and print the results. And then you'll create a third function that will add or append items to the glossary JSON file. Finally, you're going to display a menu that allows the user to create a brand new file to read from the glossary and print, or to add to the glossary. And it will also give them the option to quit. So in the JSON lecture demo video, I went through the river file handling example. And that is a good example, but it's actually more than what you need to do. So there is another example that you should be familiar with, favorite numbers. And this is similar to what you need to do. So obviously we have to import JSON because that is what we're working with. And so you can see we have several functions. We have a menu function where we are giving them options to create, read, or add to a file or quit. And we're making sure they picked one of those options. And as long as they pick one of those choices, we return the selection. We have a create function, and we are using W here, which will overwrite any existing file. So we are warning them that existing data would be overwritten. Do they still want to do this? And as long as they didn't indicate Q, we go ahead and we open the file for writing, and then we use json.dump. And the object that we pass is what we are writing. That's our dictionary object. Write file is our file object. And then personally, I like things indented to 4, and I like them sorted. If you do not like them that way, you do not need to put those options in. I like them, so I put them in. And then I have a user-friendly message indicating that the file has been created. The next function is for adding to my JSON file. So I am opening it R+, which allows reading and writing. And so I've got json.load, which is retrieving the dictionary. I've passed in the new dictionary item, the formatted item. And so I take this number dictionary object and I call the update method. I add my new item. Okay, and then I reset the pointer and move it to the beginning, and I rewrite to the file, or I add to the file, I should say. The next function is reading from the file, and I added the try, except, and else here. And if you want to add try, except, and else to, create and append, by all means, go ahead. I've got it in the read. And so I'm opening the file. If the file can't open, I have an exception, file not found. Why would this happen? Well, if they haven't created the file, they cannot read from it. So they have to create it first. That's why it would happen. So as long as it opens and it exists, then the else statement is basically in a for in loop, printing the data that's in the file. Get key, get value are called in the main program when I want to add a new entry to the JSON file. So get key basically prompts the user to enter their name, which I'm using for a key. And I'm using name.split in case they enter the first and last name or they have a multi-word first name, because that's problematic. Um, so I'm just looking for that very first word. And I'm converting it to lowercase and I'm returning it. And then for the value, enter your favorite number, returning that as the value. So here's kind of my starting list. And before they can add or read from it, they actually have to create the file with the starting list. And then you can see choice 2 is reading. Choice 3 is where I'm calling get key and get value, formatting my new dictionary, basically my key value pair here, adding it as a new dictionary entry, calling append, and adding it to the file. Okay. At the bottom, I'm displaying the menu again. So the processing that you need to do is pretty much identical to this. Okay. It's just that instead of asking for names, you're basically going to be asking for terms and definitions. Maybe not as exciting as names and favorite numbers, but actually fairly useful. So that is our last hands-on. And then once you finish that, you can go ahead and upload all of chapter 10 to GitHub and go into the Dropbox and either copy and paste a link to your repository or just add done, because at this point I am familiar with where all of your work is located.